I was shocked. I was baffled. Wanted to know why. Why me? Everyone has that question. Why now? I was so young and, had very small children. It was the beginning of my life. There was just a lot of whys. I was diagnosed nearly 20 years ago when my husband and I decided to do the right thing and get supplemental life insurance after the birth of our youngest daughter. We have three daughters. And I was fit, recovered well from my pregnancies, and there was no history of any diseases so young in my family. So I was surprised when the results came back and I had some evidence of kidney disease. And it wasn't until a biopsy, probably a year later, that confirmed I had focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. And by the time they did the biopsy, I had already started developing symptoms. So if it was just kidney disease, stage 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe, it would have been, I think it would have been manageable for me. But to deteriorate as rapidly as I did, to end up with end stage renal disease, it was horrible. It was just horrible. But, I went through a period of all of those questioning, the emotions that I processed. And I will say on some days I'm still processing. It has changed my life considerably. But I engaged in what, I term and others term as radical acceptance. It is what it is. And this is my life and I have to adjust. I learned about AMKD, APOL1, during when it was discovered in 2010. And I saw an article on APOL1 discovery. And I said, I wonder if that's what I have. And if there's a test that can answer that, I should be able to know. And it was confirmed that I have the APOL1 genetic variant. It was revealing to know the story behind the development or the evolution of the high risk variants, very similar to the evolution of sickle cell disease in terms of the gain of functioning, the protective value against malaria. Same thing with APOL1 with respect to African sleeping sickness. So it's kind of cool to know that I have that, you know, centuries, millennial long history inside my body, but then to understand what happens over time when that protective function is no longer helpful and what it can do to other parts of your body. So it wasn't surprising, it was just illuminating. On some level, it was satisfying because I more than thought that was the answer, but to have confirmation was satisfying. I finally got the answers that I needed.